On this edition of Pacific Report, units from the U.S. military and Japan Self-Defense Forces work together during exercise Keen Sword. See how they bring their training across Japan, on Guam, and around the Marianas Islands to continue strengthening the alliance between the two nations. Thanks for joining us. I'm Staff Sergeant Mariko Frazee. Directed by the commander of U.S. Forces Japan and the chief of staff of the Japan Joint Staff, exercise Keen Sword took place in Japan, Guam, and the surrounding Marianas Islands. Keen Sword is designed to increase combat readiness and improve bilateral operations in support of the defense of Japan. Approximately 11,000 U.S. military personnel participated with their Japanese counterparts in anything from air and sea operations, integrated air missile defense, and ballistic missile defense in order to keep pace with the growing threat in the Indo-Asia-Pacific region.
The purpose of Keen Sword 17 is an opportunity for the Japanese Self-Defense Force and U.S. forces to work together and support the coordination and interoperability that we require in support of mutual defense of Japan. The operations in the Marianas were focused on amphibious operations as the Japanese Self-Defense Force develops its ability to operate between the sea and the shore.
Improving our amphibious capability is especially a big subject for Japan now because the operation for defending and regaining remote islands in the Southwest District is a very big element in our current strategic environment. We haven't been strengthening our amphibious operation capability enough, and it's needed for Japan now more than ever. We've been learning amphibious strategy for the last few years, and we think it's a very big subject how Japan and the U.S. improve it together. Keen Sword allows us to strengthen our defense capability for our country, as well as the relationship between Japan and the U.S., and ultimately contribute to regional stability.
We learned a lot through this exercise, and I believe the lessons learned will help us improve Japan and U.S. capabilities, especially for us as the Japan Ground Self-Defense Force, sharing the same views and awareness with the U.S. Marine Corps. Seeking for higher level and further improvement of capabilities and striving together will directly lead to strengthening the Japan-U.S. alliance.
To help coordinate air support and direct traffic from the skies, Tech Sergeant Brian McGee is on the island of Tinian with a team that controls the airways.
Controlling the airspace is a complex mission, but Joint Terminal Attack Controllers, known as JTACs, are vital to directing military aircraft to enemies in close range of friendly forces on the ground. During Keen Sword, U.S. and Japanese air controllers teamed up to sharpen their skills.
U.S. Air Force and Marine JTACs conducting close air support training with their Japanese counterparts while aboard the JS Asumi. So when they reach Tinian, everyone's moving on the same channel when controlling U.S. military assets.
2-1 flight, this will be Type 2 bomb on coordinates, 1 GBU 31 each aircraft simultaneous.
Being a JTAC or forward air controller, I was out here with the Japanese FIST team, essentially JTAC equivalent, control some B-1 bombers here over Tinian.
A task that comes with an added layer of language translation.
It's different for them, especially with the language barrier. So the language of aviation in itself is English. You know, they're having to think in Japanese and then translate that to the English language and then talk on the radio. It's a daunting task.
Through continued partnership, language barriers like these can be overcome, and broadening these types of experiences helps strengthen bonds year to year.
I think it's a very valuable opportunity for them and us because they don't always see the robust capabilities that our aircraft have, and also they're still in the beginning stages of developing their JTAC program.
Exercise Keen Sword is a biannual event designed to increase combat readiness and communication between U.S. and Japanese forces. Sharpening JTAC capabilities is just one of many mission sets during this exercise. Reporting from the island of Tinian, I'm Technical Sergeant Brian McGee.
While some Marines were on Tinian, others were making the most of their time on Guam with jungle training and live fire drills. Amy Forsyth reports from Guam with more.
Marines were taking advantage of the warm weather and jungle environment to get acclimatized to the elements of the Pacific.
First, all the way through.
With a few long days in the field and on the ranges on Naval Base Guam.
Coming out here, it really diversifies the skill sets of the Marines, so it allows them to kind of branch out of their comfort zone get comfortable being uncomfortable in the jungle environment.
These Marines are based at Camp Pendleton, California, but are a part of the 11th Marine Expeditionary Unit and Macon Island Amphibious Ready Group. They're participating in Keen Sword to increase combat readiness and communication with Japanese self-defense forces. It's hot and it's humid here in Guam, but it's the perfect place to help prepare these Marines for operating in the Pacific. Today, they're on Naval Base Guam, conducting live fire drills as part of their ongoing sustainment training.
Guam is phenomenal. It offers us a lot of opportunities that Camp Pendleton doesn't, because it does rain quite a bit more out here, and there's a lot more jungle. So jungle warfare isn't something that we can really train to in Southern California, so coming out here to Guam is an excellent opportunity for us.
Guam and the Commonwealth of the Northern Marianas Islands offers operating forces multiple locations and plenty of space with existing training areas needed for large-scale exercises such as Keen Sword.
We haven't shot in a long time. It's been maybe 4 months, so that was like a good start back up again. Best time of life. I love that job.
Despite the long, hot days on the range, Marines here are enjoying the intense competition of team drills to keep them tactically ready should they need it.
Let's go! One more accurate burst, let's go!
Reporting from Naval Base Guam, I'm Amy Forsyth.
Taking a look out at sea, Petty Officer Adrian Powers reports aboard USS Ronald Reagan, where sailors participate in the exercise and got a visit from 7th Fleet leadership.
USS Ronald Reagan, flagship of Carrier Strike Group 5, with embarked Carrier Air Wing 5 and Desron 15, just completed exercise Keen Sword 2017, a bilateral field training exercise designed to enhance combat readiness and interoperability between U.S. and Japanese forces.
We operate with the Japanese Self-Defense Force 365 days a year. We have an incredibly close relationship with them. They're one of our closest allies worldwide. But to have the unique opportunity and the focus that Keen Sword provides really allows us to go in and validate our capabilities. It's really exciting to get that feedback as warfighters to know that we're truly ready if anything happens.
Commander U.S. 7th Fleet, Vice Admiral Joseph Aucoin, visited Ronald Reagan and shared a few words with the crew.
I just want to pass on to Ronald Reagan. You guys are doing a terrific job. We appreciate all the good work, and thanks for letting us come out here and see what you're doing. That's all for me out here.
But it's always a great honor to have our own leadership in 7th Fleet on board, to literally see what our sailors are doing day in and day out, the hard work that is going in, and to have them come out, recognize the hard work that's going on, and the real effort that is required to maintain our capability in the environment at sea is really rewarding and a great honor.
Keen Sword is the latest in a series of exercises since 1986, designed to strengthen the Japan-U.S. alliance.
Sir, thank you very much. Thank you for coming out today.
For USS Ronald Reagan, I'm Petty Officer Adrian Powers.
All right, thank you, Admiral. Good to see you.
The exercise culminated with a joint press conference held by USFJ Commander Lieutenant General Jerry Martinez and Admiral Katsutoshi Kawano, Chief of Staff of the Japan Joint Staff.
Keen Sword is the largest joint bilateral field training exercise between the United States military and the Japan Self-Defense Forces. And let me just say that the integration and cooperation of more than 36,000 U.S. military and Japan Self-Defense Force members during Keen Sword 17 has been outstanding. Over the last 12 days, our forces have leveraged this opportunity to practice while conducting bilateral operations in support of the defense of Japan. Keen Sword 17 was larger and more complex than any previous Keen Sword exercise in its history. Keen Sword 17 set an unprecedented level of cooperation that significantly builds upon the U.S. Japan alliance in our mutual commitment to the defense of Japan.
Based on Japan's new security laws, the exercise improved our ability to cope with various situations, training on search and rescue activities and amphibious operations, simulating air defense threats, and joint strategies to defend the airspace and sea.
That does it for this newscast. To check out what's happening around the region, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at AFN Pacific Now. I'm Staff Sergeant Mariko Frazee, and from all of us here at AFN Pacific, thanks for watching.